G. Here we will speak to current developments of the good work of Paul Nally of Georgia and of the right of our common American people to seek judicial remedy for criminal acts, especially through filing complaints with grand juries. Both Paul and Michael have been active in these areas. I'd like to ask Paul to open up the discussion a little bit, and then Michael, and maybe even Chris has got some stuff there with his grand jury focus. But Paul, would you like to give us a current update on how progress is going with your grand jury project there in Georgia?
Well, thank you, Charles. And yes, there's not that much to update. First, let me inform Michael that Garland Favorito and his group have gone down into South Georgia, down on the coast, Coffee County, and they have filed a suit down there concerning that county not certifying its election results. So they just have filed that, and we'll see how that progresses. And secondly is Chris, is he from out at Nevada?
Yes.
That's correct. That's where I'm at.
Okay. Last year, let me sidetrack just a minute to Nevada situation. Last year, I had an opportunity to help a lady out there with a what we call here in Georgia a tenant holding over. And the guy that was supposedly renting the place criminally abused the judicial process. But when she tried to make, and of course I researched the statutes for her, and made some suggestions, and she was following those in court, and she decided that she wanted to criminally prosecute the guy because of his attitude and his abuse of the litigation system, which she did not believe that she needed to be put through, and she was correct, by the way. Unfortunately, the judge out there did not want to hear her problem. Excuse me. Now, maybe that'll hold that one off. I don't know, I'm a little bit hesitant to be telling folks what to do in their own states, but one of the best ways in the world that I can think of to get deviant people off of one of the best ways to prevent persons who have antisocial attitudes from creating disharmony and discord within any social structure is to bring a criminal prosecution when there is evidence. Now, I don't mean go out and just criminally prosecute people when they haven't done any, when they have not committed any criminal acts. But when their conduct becomes so abhorrent that it violates a criminal statute, I find it reprehensible that any judge who has jurisdiction over both criminal and civil cases refuses to allow a petitioner to make a criminal complaint and consider it and consider the evidence. So basically the reason I'm mentioning that is Chris might want to think about that, might want to do a little research into his court system out there and see if maybe he might be having a problem with some judges and their attitudes out there.
Oh, Paul, since you brought that up, I can tell you that this is probably one of the top 10 most corrupt venues. The state itself is a rogue state. They didn't have sufficient number of people living in the state to have petitioned for statehood, but it sought the particular interest of Lincoln and his re-election back at that time, 1864. So they, let's say, forced it through in spite of insufficient numbers of people living here to petition for statehood. Notwithstanding that being a long time ago, I have had more, it's like they absolutely are targeting conservatives and law-savvy, non-bar pro-pers with a vindictive, hostile, retaliatory, discriminatory, class-based animus, hatred, and loathing, I can tell you without any equivocation whatsoever. They don't know the meaning of presumption of innocence, especially Chinese judges. They tend to not even look at your paperwork and rule against you, and are openly biased in the court, working with the prosecution against you from the bench as a co-prosecution tag team. So your counsel is well taken and advised, and that is precisely the reason I am working so feverishly on a criminal affidavit, information, and indictment for public corruption for this federal grand jury here in this state, although I do know the federal grand juries pre-qualify all the grand jurors to be U.S. citizens, which creates another conundrum for those of us who have removed ourselves from that burden, as myself.
No.
I have a pact. Go ahead.
Pardon me for interrupting, but if you have repudiated the prime contract and withdrawn yourself from that constitution that is a contract, then you are still entitled to the basic constitutional rights. Let me give you a hint. When you go read your United States Constitution or your state constitution, watch for the catchword person or persons. That word does not mean a citizen only. It means any living, breathing human being whose feet are inside the geographic boundaries of your state.
Hear, hear.
So watch for that word persons or person. And you will find that even though you are you may be a national rather than a citizen of the state of Nevada. Rather than a citizen of the state of Nevada, the fact that you're in Nevada, your body is in Nevada, you are still entitled to any right, privilege, or immunity that is granted a person whose body is in that state. Now that's just
yeah, I certainly concur with your premise, and I know that you're exactly right according to the law. However, when you're dealing with a lawless group of black-robed priests of Baal who are judicial terrorists and activists, as they are here in the Ninth Circuit in particular, there is a hit list out here, I can assure you. It might be nationally, across the whole U.S., I'm pretty sure they're keeping this judicial hit list and bar hit list in the different states because they are vindictive against anyone that infringes on their ability to plunder, rob, and rape the people under their pretext of representation.
Okay, then, Chris, let me give you another little heads up.